I think, I mean, while I was researching for the interview, right, I actually read all of your books. So I went through each of your books and I completely agree with you, because what I found was, even though I'm an adult, I still enjoyed reading them so much. They were so much fun. They were backed up with knowledge presented, in such a simple, fun manner. And I mean, each book, so if you look at the first one, which is Case of the Missing Tadpole, so there's talk of metamorphosis, there's the talk of transformation, growing up, dealing with change. The Tale of Two Deserts, your other book, deals with the life in the, how do you say that, Mojave Desert and the Gobi Desert, yes. And I mean, the animals there, what it's like living there, the climate. There's also, I mean, then there was another book of yours which talks about, fear and how to address fears, so the fears that children have. And I was thinking back to my childhood about my fear of darkness and, how my parents dealt with that, of course, and how it was so interesting that, each thing was dealt with beautifully. So that's my next question to you, right?
Thank you.
How did you... how did all of these ideas come about? So your next book is now going to be about the Mojave. Did I say that correctly?
Well, actually, that one's out. The one with the Mojave and the Gobi. The one that's being produced now is about pirates.
Yes. I thought that was also about the Mojave Desert and a pyramid under the sea. Yes? No.
Well, actually, it's interesting because what I wanted to do is I wanted in each of these books, the hardest one to research was actually the fears, because children are so different than we had much simpler lives. We had less to be afraid of. And it was interesting finding fears that would hit the 6 to 8 group where they were still afraid of those things. Because they have more sophisticated, fears now. But when I got into like the inspector, I started to think, what are natural mysteries that need to be solved? And my daughter, Caitlin, loved tadpoles and anything slimy that crawled around. When she was little, she loved to go to the creek. Matter of fact, she still loves to do it today. She's 20 years old. And I thought, who doesn't like a good tadpole? And what happens to a tadpole? They change. So, it started this whole thought process of, well, what else changes and how does it change? And then I researched, what changed and how it changed, so that there was some fact in there. But to me, that was setting children up. They're reading now, 6 to 8. They're starting to go to school. They already love reading, hopefully. That's why they're reading the series. But now they need to learn how to love learning. And how do you learn to love learning? Similar to me learning how to do the books. Books became a passion, so learning how to make it all happen wasn't even work. It was fun, right? Yes. So if we can plant the seed with 6 to 8-year-olds on learning is fun, maybe the teachers will have an easier time when they get there, because what's the question you always ask your teacher? Why do I need to know that?
Yes. There was a why for everything.
Right. And if you just say to somebody, because it's part of the curriculum, but if you make it so that what they're learning impacts their life and their interests, then they're more open to learning. They want to learn. So each of the books was meant to plant a seed. The desert was about geography. Well, what do kids love? They love animals, right? They love dinosaurs and dinosaur eggs. So, I started researching what animals live in which deserts. And I realized I even learned something. I learned that there are cold deserts, like the Antarctic is a desert. I probably learned that somewhere, but I didn't remember. And then I started looking at, there's over 50 deserts. Well, I can't cover 50 deserts in 48 pages. Which desert are we going to go look at? And I learned that the Gobi was the first desert where they found dinosaur eggs.
Wow.
And you know they're still there today? And I thought, wow. What child is not going to want to know that there are still dinosaur eggs? We have to go to the Gobi. And then you find there are animals that just live in the Gobi.
Mm-hmm.
One that the UN has a program to conserve because there's only around 20 of them left. It's the Gobi bear, and it only lives in the Gobi.
Wow, okay.
You know, I mean, how could I not write about that?
Yes, how could I know about that? How did I not? I've never known about this. It's so amazing that you find a bear living in a desert, right? You hear of the Siberian bear and all the others, but I've never heard of this one myself.
Right, it's that. And then when I thought of Pirates Town, I was looking at what are unusual, shipwrecks.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that there was a shipwreck right here in the Mojave Desert.
Okay.
It caught up in a swell, and it got in the middle of the desert, and they had to leave their pearls behind because they couldn't carry the booty out with them, and it really exists. And then that led me to research a pyramid that they found under the sea off the coast of Portugal, and scientists still can't determine if the materials used for that pyramid are man-made.
Wow.
Talk about a treasure, right? And then you find out about whales whose hearts are as big as, a car. I was fascinated,
Okay, so, I mean, I can so see why, and I can see why I enjoyed those books, because I enjoy learning, and they were so well put out to learn, right?